So
yeah, I'm always curious to talk to people from Detroit in its heyday, because it sounded like, the industrial period of Detroit must have been amazing, but then just the rock and roll period must have been amazing. But
it was. Yeah, I was 10, so it was.
Yeah,
I mean, my rock
just
and roll
baseball.
period was in the suburbs of Columbus when my dad was teaching at Ohio State.
Oh yeah,
I did have a couple of bands.
you were in bands?
Yeah, sure. One was a duo and a trio. I was very acoustic and very mediocre.
Uh-huh.
We wrote some original crying, dying, going away love songs and stuff, and did a lot.
What year was this? How old were you? Was this the 60s?
Yeah, 68, 69, 70. Yeah, early mid-teens.
Long hair? Do you have the long hair?
Oh, I had the hair. I had the beard as soon as I could grow it. The scruffy beard coming in. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I went from jock to hippie freak at about
overnight.
that age. Just had to happen. It blew out my knees, which was a blessing in disguise. And I was like, okay, football wasn't quite as fun as I was pretending it was anyway. So I'm just gonna turn on, tune in, drop out, and play rock and roll. So
you started as like a jockey guy.
I started as a lousy guitarist, singer, songwriter, and then when I got out of high school, I ended up. I thought I was super cool, and I got a gig at Ohio University as a disc jockey on not even the campus radio station. It was each green had its own tiny little radio station that basically broadcast to 3 different dorms. So I was doing the graveyard shift, doing my progressive rock, playing like entire album sides of Emerson and Palmer's first album. And,
for 12 people who might have been awake.
12 was optimistic, yeah.
But that was great. Well, it's so funny because when I said jockey, I thought like I was talking about football. So you blew out your knees in high school, so that was behind you. And then we end up, turns out, you're a long-haired, but you're not even going to the college. You just got a gig being the DJ? No.
I was going to the college.
Okay.
I snaggled a way to get out of high school a year early, actually, and started at OU when I was just such a child. Now looking back.
Were you playing coffee houses?
My friend and I had played coffee houses. My friend Randy and I had played coffee houses in high school.
Right.
And we were at OU together, but didn't really continue that. At least we didn't get any gigs. I don't remember if we kind of still strummed around a little bit.
Do you remember when Kent State happened?
Oh, all too vividly. Yeah. We were, I would have been a freshman in high school, I guess, 1970, in Columbus, at Ohio State. And we had, and there were things going on there, not, with the same awful consequences, but, a lot of student protests and stuff going on there, and the cops shooting beanbags at people and quelling the crowd.
And your dad was he taught there?
My dad taught at Ohio State for several years before he went out and became the head honcho at the University of Montana. Yeah, not like president of the university. He was head of the music department.
Well, let's not diminish that. That's very important.
No. It was a great gig for him, and Montana was a beautiful thing for our whole family of 5, and then 6 ultimately, with my mom's mom ended up joining us when our grandpa passed away, and we had a whole Waltons thing going on there for a while.
How many siblings you have?
Older sister, younger brother. So my little brother was in high school. My sister and I both transferred to University of Montana, and we all ended up graduating from there. And we lived under one roof again after my sister and I had both been away from home for another 2 or 3 years.
Well, so you got lucky with the, it seems, with the parental draw, in that it seems like that they were encouraging of the arts, and that there couldn't have been much resistance, given that was your dad's job. Yeah, and they had met in college, actually, in a musical theater production, Kismet, as it turns out, literally. And so, they definitely encouraged us, and we all, at least dabbled in the arts and performing arts. And did your mom stay in the arts? No, well, she stayed in the arts as an administrator for a while at Ohio State, and then with the Arts Council in Montana, and then more in the business sector after that. But they were always big supporters, and continued to leave a real
legacy in that way in Missoula, Montana.
Missoula. I just talked to somebody else from Missoula. Who the hell was that?
Dana Carby.
Is he from there?
Yeah.
That's the one guy you know?
Well, we haven't even met, but he grew up there. I didn't move there until I was in college.
I always pictured Montana to be beautiful.
It is indeed. Don't tell anybody else though, because they don't want more people there.
Do you have a place there still or anything?
No, we've thought off and on over the years about getting a place, but we just, we go there almost every summer and visit, and either Missoula or up on the lake, and started doing my summer theater there. So I have a lot of friends I've had for 40 years or more now that we go back and have little mini reunions oftentimes in the summer up there. It is beautiful.
Yeah, I got to get up there before, I don't know, someday when we can all move freely, if that day ever comes.
Yeah.
I noticed on the credits, I was looking at some of your credits, that you've already done a voiceover for a COVID informational video.
Yeah, that was weird because it's a Netflix show called Explained, where they explain different, scientific things, rocket science,
Right.
And this was over a year and a half ago now, like more than a year before COVID hit the United States. The
really?
topic was pandemics in general.
Huh. Yeah.
And the thrust of the show that I narrated was kind of like, hey, we're not ready. We could be, maybe we should be, but not just the U.S., nowhere. I mean, the world is not ready
for pandemic.
What the scientists kept saying was, an inevitability, a not if but when kind of scenario. And then,
and it happened.
Shortly after it happened here, we did a little home recording update and made it a little more, coronavirus specific. So it was not a happy recording session, but hopefully a helpful one.
Where are you holed up?
We're holed up in LA now. Our kids are in college in New York.
Yeah.
So my wife and I, stalking them as all good parents do at that age.
Right.
We had met in New York and done Broadway, and
sure.
Love New York. So we got a place in New York a little over a year ago, and the four of us were there just at the time when New York became the epicenter. So we
got out.
I rode my bike on the last day before everything just shut down. Every non-essential thing shut down. I rode a bike to Queens and got a minivan. Threw my bike in the back of it, went back to our apartment, and threw a bunch of junk in there. Our son, we were pretty sure, had been exposed. Well, he had been exposed. Turns out he was not. He didn't have the virus, but we thought he did. So
really?
my wife went full on MacGyver and manufactured this like boy in a bubble kind of thing for him with a bunch of old, plastic recycling and duct tape that we had.
Really?
Stuck him in the third row of the minivan. And the four of us, pedal to the metal from New York to L.A. in about 2 days.
With the kid in a bubble?
With the boy in the bubble and the girl up as far away as she could be from the bubble in the passenger seat, and me doing most of the driving and
oh my God,
my wife partly documenting some of it, and then when we stopped for gas once, she commandeered the driver's seat and made me take a break. But yeah, I mean, we just got out, and of course now we're in the new epicenter in Southern California. So yay.
Well, I guess there's really no benefit other than it's easier to isolate here in Southern California.
Yeah, that's definitely having a backyard and.
Yeah, I mean, New York, there's no way you can avoid anybody ever.
Yeah,
there, that was just built for, spread. But how'd your son feel when he found out he didn't have it and spent, 42 hours on the road in a bubble?
And of course we couldn't, testing was not available. So we didn't find out until maybe 2 months later. He and I both finally got tested for the antibodies. And we were like,
Nothing.
Wait, what? He didn't have it. His roommate had it. And
did he get sick? Is he all right?
No, the roommate still cannot smell or taste anything, which a lot of people, especially back then, didn't know that was one of the symptoms.
Oh God, it's just so fucking terrifying every day to be alive right now.
It's just daunting. Yeah.
Daunting. That's a good word. Yeah.
But the good news is Ben did not get really sick. The bad news is he can't smell or taste. But again, the good news is, then why not eat nothing but broccoli and spinach if you can't taste it anyway? So he's been super healthy since then.
Get in shape. Yeah, it's time. Yeah, there's no pleasure in eating. So
might as well
get in shape.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah,
exactly. Now, when did you shift from bad singer-songwriter into acting?
Hey, just mediocre, not bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mediocre. I apologize. It was I
transitioned from acoustic coffee house James Taylor wannabe into classical Leonard Bernstein Pavarotti wannabe, and
singing.
And studied classical music in college. Which is
singing though, like opera
was my dad's milieu. Yeah, singing, composing, conducting.
Oh wow, really?
All of it.
How are you at sight reading music? Good.
Used to be adequate. It's one of those muscles I haven't used in a long time. Although when Whiplash came around, whatever that was, 5 years ago or so, Damien and I first met to talk about me doing that, and I had read the script and was not an idiot, so I was in love with it and wanted to do it. And the first thing he wanted to assure me was that I shouldn't worry too much about the technical aspects of being a conductor and a musician, and we could fake a lot of that, and we'd have a body double and a technical advisor and all that. And I was like, dude, I have a college degree in conducting and composing and singing. He was like, what? So that was one of the coolest aspects of that gig, especially as we were doing it.
That's crazy. You were the guy.
I was actually reading those charts, and we were, and all the guys, all the musicians, and I say guys because it was 99% guys,
right?
Those were all actor/musicians. They weren't, the music we were making isn't as great as the final mix sounds, but during all those band scenes, we were really cranking out the tunes, and I wasn't just waving my arms around. I actually kind of knew what I was doing.
Right, and it's interesting because it's probably not something it would take. The effort it would take to fake well would have been extraordinary.
Yeah, that's always been one of my growing list of pet peeves that you see in films is somebody playing a baseball player who clearly has never swung a bat until he picked it up to do that, or musicians. Right. I mean, conductors and musicians. I mean, it's such a hard thing to fake,
it really is,
because you're usually playing obviously a character who performs at a high level. So
I just did a film. I was in. I played Jerry Wexler in this upcoming Aretha Franklin film, and with Jennifer Hudson. So there's all the Muscle Shoals scenes, and they hired to play Spooner and Dave and all those guys. They hired real musicians, so like all the dudes could play.
That's a beautiful thing. That's the way to do it.
It really is. It's not like they had a few lines. There's a balance to it. It's like they're going to look like they're playing, but you don't want them to talk too much.
Yeah.
They're the musician actor crossover, rarely successful.
Yeah.
So you study music and you're studying singing, composing, and is this like and your dad must be thrilled.
Yeah, and I think it took me a while to wrap my brain around that that's what I really wanted to do, because it just seemed so, I want to be like daddy, so, which is why I didn't gravitate towards it immediately, when I was 16, 17, 18. But yeah, ultimately. And my brother, my younger brother got a degree in music too. And he's a real Renaissance man, singer, performer, writer, conductor, teacher, all around world saver.
Really?
In Phoenix, Arizona, the ubuproject.org. And our sister, also dabbled in a lot and ended up having a career as a college professor. She just retired from University of Washington.
How's your brother doing? That place is a COVID shit show right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like everybody else, he's doing a lot of Zoom and a lot of this and that, and just hunkered down and trying to get through it. It's feeling more and more to me like hibernation here, and just
Yeah.
waiting for spring, which will come, I guess, with the vaccine, I guess.
Hopefully.